listening to Africana Woman with Chulu. The Africana Woman is a live show that highlights our stories in our own words. We believe that to attract the lives that we truly desire, we must smash the culture of silence around the things that hold us back or keep us stuck. In our tribe, rest assured, you are not alone. The Africana Woman is for you, by you, and about you, no matter where you are in the world. So the Africana Woman highlighted this week is Khanya Sosibo from South Africa. Now remember, this is part 2 of our conversation around success, self-love, and being a professional, single African woman. Now, if you have not listened to part 1, make sure you go back and listen to it. Otherwise, let me remind you about who Khanya is. Durban-born Khanya Sosibo is a woman with a creative and strategic mind for business. She is passionate about media as a tool for empowering society through impactful and effective media across all platforms. She has experience in the financial services sector as a new business development consultant in the promotions and eventing space as a project manager and in community development as a facilitator. She is a freelance radio broadcaster, professional MC, voiceover artist, and social entrepreneur. So guys, we're going to just go right into it. This is part 2 of our conversation on success, self-love, and being a professional, single African woman. Let's go.
So I think one of the things that I would like to add to, the things you had mentioned about how you practice self-love, for me, an additional thing was setting boundaries. And if you don't teach people how to treat you, they will treat you however you want. They'll treat you like a doormat. You need to educate people on how you expect them to treat you, So in the same case of, not putting ourselves into debt. If someone comes and asks you for money, say, listen, either you're able to or you're not. But you need to set those boundaries where somebody isn't always coming back and just thinking your whole budget, which you're trying to budget, you're trying to save. You need to have boundaries for yourself. You need to understand what are the things that I would and will not accept, and then stand true to what you have set as your boundaries. So for me, that has been something that has been a learning curve and growth thing.
Wow, true. Listen, and I think that's why that's the best way to put it about boundaries. And as I said before, that I've always been a bit of a stubborn person. So in itself, those are boundaries that were set, and especially those boundaries when it comes to family. I think a lot of people struggle with setting boundaries with family, which means they'll struggle to set boundaries in circles as you move out into different spaces. So then with friends, with a partner, in the workspace, and just with society at large. And the boundaries is very, very, very important, because if you are not going to set those boundaries, you really are going to kill yourself. You really are. Yeah. And also in part of setting those boundaries, it's very important to also know that whatever vision you have for yourself, and that's why it goes back to success, and that success is something that should be defined by you from the inside. Whatever your vision of success is, means that you are going to set certain goals that are known only to you, right? And nobody else needs to understand what those goals are. And if you are not going to set boundaries, people are constantly going to be chipping in and blocking you from reaching your goals. Also, if you don't steadfast, as you say, and say, as I said, I'm trying to go on a trip to wherever. If somebody else in the family is just like, I don't know what other terms can be used, but I know that, ngesizulu they'll say uthanda ukuzula. Now uthanda ukuzula is to make, it's like you just like being, just being out in the street. If I want to travel. That's part of the goals I've set for myself. That's what success means to me, to be able to travel. If you don't say, I can't give you 100 rand, because now it's going to mean that I need to take out of my savings and I'm trying to buy plane tickets. So definitely I cannot second that strongly enough. Set boundaries, set boundaries, set boundaries, set boundaries, even in relationships with my leaders to our next.
Right, exactly. All righty. So now let us talk about culture and single women. Educated, professional, single African women. What has been your experience in this area?
Basically, failure. Basically, I mean, what am I doing with my life? What am I doing with my life? It is the most interesting thing. It is the most interesting thing, Chulu, because for some reason, singlehood is viewed differently for women. And it's almost like the standards definitely are not equal. That for men, we as women, when we hear that a guy is single, it's literally celebrated. By guys, it's literally celebrated. Take your time, explore, do what you need to do for you, and when you are good, then look for a partner. With women, it's literally like you're out of the nappies, babes. How do you not have a man? I mean, it's like, the question when people hear that you're single is, why are you single?
What's wrong with you?
I mean, I've never heard somebody ask a man, why are you single? A man says they're single, eyes, glow, there's fist pumps, and somebody mentioned it earlier on about a certain freedom that all women need to get, or to take, rather, because I don't think nobody's going to give it to us, to take. And that's the freedom of having choice, and even in being either coupled or single. So you start getting those I remember, oh gosh, the story. I remember when I was turning 30, I got a call from a guy who's a family friend. The mom and my mom are friends, and he called and he was just like, so we don't even speak that much. I haven't seen him in a very long time. Calls me and he says, Sosi, happy birthday. So I'm just like, oh, thank you, and then it's just like, the big 3-0, no man, no child, the clock. So I was like, what clock?
Which clock?
What clock? What clock? Whose clock? So I do think that there's a lot of struggles there. And if you're educated, it becomes worse, because then it seems that you're wanting more for yourself, wanting to better yourself, and being ambitious and having a hunger and a constant yearning to educate yourself, to explore more, seems to be, it then becomes vilified. That's why you're single. It's because of the situation. And obviously, by virtue of what education means, that your mind is open, you get, different views, you get to learn a bit about yourself as you learn about the world, is that, yes, that list does become rather strict about what you want. And it's not just about what you don't want. You then start identifying what you want, which makes it difficult to date. Then you're just a problem because, wow, now what?
You're so proud, Khanya. You're so proud.
Yes, definitely. Yeah, you need, I've been told by, and it's really sad sometimes, but actually just funny, by family members, you need to tone down a bit, you can't have an opinion about everything because, that thing repels men, just be quiet a bit and whatever. And I'm just like, if I have to dumb myself down for you, you're not my type. Keep it. And I really, really hold this very dear to myself. If I'm too much of something or not enough of something for you, you are not my type. Keep it moving. Keep it, and some of the things about being single is, for some reason, it's almost like you've got some sort of a disease if you're single and you're a woman. And we are part to blame for that as women, that even by ourselves, we start feeling like, oh, but I need to get a man, or I need to be in a relationship. And also there's the external forces as well. If you're not going to be married and have a man, get a baby at least. It's almost like, the value of you as a woman being by yourself is not quite there. Can you just find something to add value for you? Like, a man, amazing, the baby, hello. If you can't here, try here. But it's almost like a woman is devalued until there's an add-on.
But then also, Khanya, though, because for a long time, let's say when you are a teenager, you are, okay, let's say a teenager, don't get pregnant. When you are in your 20s, get your degree, focus on that, focus on your career. And then on your 30s, what's the problem? What's wrong with you? Like, please, you're just never going to make people happy.
But it's also the ownership. I think a lot of other people, other than women in society, feel that they own, especially Black women. And it also happens from other women, so depending on your age, it's just everybody seems to own the African woman besides the African woman. So, one of the things I'd like to explore is being single. Being single means you have time to explore. Yeah. But the freedom of exploring, society cannot allow women to have that. Because you explore, what does that mean? You're different boys. You know what I mean? So already it's just like, no. Exploring is, and everything seems to be attached to men, because if you are traveling the world, alone, men, if you want to go on different dates at different times, men, and it's just such it's exhausting. It is exhausting, because I think singlehood is something that should be enjoyed, because you get to know yourself, the self-love that we're speaking about. You get to become aware, and you move from a place of clarity, because it's very easy to know what you don't want. A lot of women know what they don't want.
Yeah, that one's
easy. Who you want, they cannot tell you what they want. And I think time of being single also just means that you are accountable to nobody but yourself. And I think as a young adult, that is very necessary to find that place where you're no longer in the home, your parents' home. It's before you get, if it's something that you want or aspire to, you don't have a family yet, where you're just alone and you're just like, I'm not accountable to anybody else but myself. And get to know yourself in that and explore. It really is about exploring, The longer you take to want to jump into these commitments, that's also the assumption that all women want.
I was going to say that. But Khanya, let's go back to explore. Because when you're saying explore, I'm sure some people's minds are going straight to, sex. Like, it's not just that.
That too. But yes, I'm a firm believer that if you don't empower every area of yourself, okay, if you remember nothing else from this conversation, take this away. If you don't empower yourself physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, financially, sexually, someone else is going to overpower you. And I do believe that taking time to be single when you're older, so you're no longer in the home, and it's just time for you to be you. Then you can know which areas of yourself are the ones that you need to work a bit harder at empowering. So that when the person comes in afterwards, they're not going to overpower you. You know what I mean? They can compliment you, they can uplift you, but they're not coming there to overpower you, you know? So even, and we should learn to be able to speak openly about this, because that's why, I mean, the stats are shocking that I think it's a number like 80% of sexually active women don't ever in their lifetime experience an orgasm. That's, you know what I mean? So you just need to learn to overpower yourself. You need to empower yourself. You just need to know what you like, how you like it. You know what I mean? Financially, if you're a spender and you know that you're a spender, then obviously you know that you need to make a lot, you know, of money. If spiritually you know that you're a person who wants to meditate, or you need yoga, or you need, you know, retreats, you need to know that about yourself. Physically, you need to know, you know, that, you know, in this form and shape, you can't come at me and shame me for anything, you know? So really, 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 I think it's very important that we have to empower ourselves in every area of our lives, so that when you are ready, and you need to be ready, and it's a choice to want to meet somebody else, or to, you know what I mean? And I know that people will be like, but you need a man, or no. I think you must get to a point where you are whole, and you don't need a man, you want a man. Or you don't need a woman, you want a woman, you know? And I was just laughing because there's so many things that, yes, I look forward to, you know, having a partner that I don't have to worry about. But yes, I'm a person who knows how to read the gas tank when it's time to, you know, the car needs to be filled up. In terms of understanding how a car functions, I think we live in a world where it's not okay to be ignorant anymore. It's not cute. It's not cute to say, oh, I don't know anything about cars. Oh, I don't know anything about it. It's not cute anymore. It's not cute. Know about it, and you have the opportunity not to do it. You know what I mean? That is just, you know, no. You need to know that I can do it. I'd love you to do it for me, because that's great. Because now you're contributing. You know what I mean? So we must also step up it's not cute not knowing stuff. It's not.
Hey sis, thank you for listening to Africana Woman with Chulu. This show is only possible because of your participation. These are your stories in your own words. There are actually 2 ways that you can be featured in the Africana Woman Network. You can either be a guest blogger on the Africana Woman blog, or a guest speaker on the Africana Woman podcast. If any of these interest you, please contact me on africanawoman@gmail.com to learn more about the procedures to be approved. Now, back to the show.
Okay, wait, Khanya. So now let's talk about this, because there are women that actually do not want a man, or do not want a woman. You know what I mean? As in, they're perfectly comfortable with not necessarily getting married, but so what are your thoughts on that?
There's nothing wrong with not wanting it, you know? But yeah, so I was told, yeah, in your 20s, yeah, no, when 30, the clock, whatever the clock is, that I'm going to want it. And there is actually nothing wrong with it. There's nothing lacking in you. And it's quite fun. And I think we need to get to to a point where we don't treat women as if they one thing. You know, the same thing that they do to the continent, where they just think, you know, Africa is a country. No, it's not.
Right.
Africa is a country. There's different countries, different needs, different cultures. So even with women, some women are not going to want marriage, and they're going to want a partnership. You know what I mean? Some women want marriage. Some women want babies. Some don't want babies. The problem is when people want to other and negatively other the ones who don't want what they want. So I'm happy for you if you want. I'm happy for you if that's something that you look forward to and you aspire to in your life. I'm happy for you if you want kids. Just like if you are wanting kids, best believe that maybe for me, I want a jet. You know, and you don't want a personal plane, and I want a jet. You want a husband, and I'm just happy to have a boyfriend for life, you know, a girlfriend for life, or whatever it is that you want. Or, you know, and so for me, it's very important that we don't think that just because I want something and I happen to want what is wanted by a lot of people, that then everybody is going to want it. And that's a part of empowerment that comes through. If you empower yourself in those mentally knowing, I want what I want and that's not for me. The setup personally, I just love the kind of relationship, even though I don't know it that intimately. But for me, the Oprah setup, I'm so happy with that. You know what I mean? No kids, it's you and me. I'm happy with that. And I'm also gentle with myself that if 3 years from now, even if tomorrow, I then, you know, feel differently, guess what? I will not be shamed for the fact that today, at this time, this is how I felt. I will then move on with that. For a very long time, very confident in knowing that marriage for me is definitely not, not a problem. And, you know, so a man, you know, that I can travel with, I can do things with, and I'm very happy. I'm officially a deputy mom, and I love being a deputy mom. I love little people. And yeah, so very happy and comfortable.
I got a question for you. How does one come to that level of okay with your decision in African society?
Ooh, child. Hey,
come on now. Because, you know, when you meet people, it's like, oh my gosh. It's like they feel so sorry for you. Like, really?
Yes. They want to pray for you.
Yeah, let's put some hands on you. Let's go. Yeah, don't start.
I don't think you can be okay from an African society perspective. You have to be okay with self. You know, so it goes back to self-love. If that is something that makes you happy, and you're clear that it makes you happy, for as long as it's giving you joy, you can't be bothered by it. It's none of your business. It is none of your business what other people think about a decision that you've made for you. It is none of their business at all. Because I'm very careful to say, why are you doing what you're doing? You know, so I ask this question when people say they want to have a baby. I'm like, why do you want to have a baby?
The intention behind it, the why.
It's very clear. So you want to have a baby because you've been feeling othered because in society at your age, you should have a baby. Your friends are speaking about their kids, they're taking them to schools, there's play dates and you feel you left out. I know that some people, because of when people get married, they feel that the friends now kind of don't hang out with them because you're single. So you're like, but you're my friend. And this one aspect of your life has now determined that we can no longer be friends. Some other people also want to be married because they want to be still included in their friendships. Others, they just want to be a Mrs. Somebody. They've always liked the sound of it and whatever. So I do believe that it's very important that you own it. and it's yours. And you are very clear that it's me, and it's not looking down on anything, and I'm not lacking in any way. But it's what I want from myself. And you can still be a very positively contributing individual in society, even if you're a woman and you choose to have kids. If you are a woman and you choose to not be somebody's wife, it's okay. You can contribute. You definitely can contribute. In society. For me, acceptance is within you. They will come on eventually. If you just accept it and go, eventually, those who want to be on board, they'll be on board and they'll run with you. If that answers your question.
Yeah. So
I see saying validate yourself. Very important. Validation should come from within, because it's a danger when you're constantly getting validation from outside. Because the moment you no longer get validation from outside, you might think you're doing something wrong, and you could just be on the right path. But people have just changed, because it was cute when you said at 14 you don't want to get married. At 20 it was like, yeah, no, when you're saying you're 30 and you don't want to get married, it's like, okay, well, so important, to kind of get the validation. And the marriage thing, I think, is a bit more accepted.
Present day.
People are accepting that women want to have a child. That has been, I can see people's faces change when I'm just like, if it's going to be a blessing that I'm supposed to get, I'll get to it. But I don't have the thing of, I'm in my 30s and I need to have a child. I'm very happy with my nieces, my nephews that are coming from siblings or friends, for that matter. I love little people, really. But I'm also very self-aware to know that right now, the way that I know my life, I want a life where I want to be able to travel, to do so much more. And the reality is that I can't do if I'm a parent. So if that changes in future, hippie, but I still get to be a mom, to some beautiful little people. So there's that as well.
Okay. So I think one thing I do want to mention to us women is, can we stop greeting people with, oh, you've gone so fast? Please. And also projecting, because I feel a lot of what you're saying is about projection. You're projecting what you want on somebody else, but you have to be okay with allowing them to be themselves and be authentic to themselves. And I think that's something that we don't always practice. But that's when I see, when greeting someone, hello, wow, you've gained weight. No, please, let's stop.
Maybe truly we should maybe just backtrack there and be like, that sentence is not a greeting.
There we go. Thank you.
It is not a greeting. It's not. And I remember I had a very passionate, conversation addressing this with a family member last year. And I said, and they're like, no, but it's because people care. I was like, no. You do not. It has nothing to do with you, because you don't even understand that maybe somebody is going through something that is medical.
Yeah.
They're going through something deep, and you are just out here. At the end of the day, it's just body shaming, which is not okay.
Yeah.
So many things about, and that I don't know if that happens with other races, but I know it to be a very African thing. I know it to be a very African thing to be, ooh, you've lost weight, and depending who it is, it might be that the gaining weight is a good sign, losing weight is a good sign, losing weight is a bad sign, And unless if I know that, Chulu, you have been wanting to lose weight because that's how well I know you, and you've allowed me that part of your journey, I even then, I'm not even sure if that's like the takeoff you know.
I know, right? The first thing you say to somebody.
You know? So, and I really have believed that part of self-love and just learning to love the next person as well. Mm-hmm. And that's why I said to you that self-love begins with you. If you cannot say kind things to yourself, if that's what you're saying to yourself all the time, it's easy for you to then say it when you're speaking to a Chulu randomly. Right. You know? Yeah. If you can't say to yourself, you know, oh, you know, you look nice. I love your eyes, or I love your lips. I love your smile, or whatever. Literally, because you're constantly looking for something wrong with you. Oh my gosh, I got a pimple, I got a blemish. I'm darker here. This is the case. My edges aren't on. I'm constantly looking for something negative, and I don't know when I switch from looking at me and the next person. So all I'm seeing in you is now all the negative things. So it's definitely about projection. It really, really is about projection. And it's like when somebody says, maybe you're a bit too aggro, I think it's because people it's a part of them, you know, identifying something in you about themselves. So that is not a greeting. You have gained weight. Oh my gosh, it's not a greeting. I don't know. It's not a greeting at all. Not a greeting. All right, guys. And it goes back to boundaries. Like people, and again, I think culturally, there's certain things that have been allowed for people to say because it's rude to say no. That's not it. Because how dare you in a family gathering and some auntie says to you know, once a while, how dare you? No, we know. Yay!
I hope you enjoyed this conversation with Miss K as much as I did. Or maybe it's because I'm single that I really like this conversation. Okay, guys, these are my top 3 takeaways this week. It is so important that you set boundaries to practice self-love. Number 2, being single allows you to really know yourself. Number 3, before you jump into a relationship, these are the things that you need to be clear about yourself. 1, know your values, know your desires, and then know your wants. This was so good. Guys, please make sure you go and follow Khanya on her social media and just let her know. Give her some love. Let her know where you heard about her from. You find her, the way to contact her in the show notes, and just show her some love, guys. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe on iTunes, Google, Stitcher, Pandora, Amazon, and wherever you get your podcasts. Click that subscribe button. You'll be helping us so much if you first subscribed, gave us a 5-star rating, and then reviewed the podcast. We would love to hear what you thought about this episode. I also love to talk to you guys and meet you, so please find me on all my social media at Chulu by Design. Or come on over to the Africana Woman Facebook group and dive deeper into these topics. Otherwise, see you next week for the next episode. And remember, my hope is that you love yourself, flaws and all, and attract the life that you desire. This has been a production of Ulendo Creative Media. You can find out more about their services on www.ulendocreative.com.